Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to day number 2, week number 6 of the Smite Pro League. We're going to be starting off here with the European side of things. My name is Driver. I'm joined today by DM Brandon. How are you doing?
Averagely.
Averagely?
Normal
Not the
day.
matches that we have today, though. Definitely a lot of strong matches. And first up, of course, on the docket, we're going to have Mortality taking their chance to see if they can actually get a win today. Yesterday did not look so hot for them. They were kind of struggling a little bit, but of course, they're going to be going up against Exposed Secrets.
You know, they've been so up and down. I mean, Mortality had such a strong showing in the beginning. They've fallen a little bit. Exposed Secrets kind of taken over the EU scene. Currently 9-4, a much stronger record than Mortality's 8-6. But Mortality can still answer back here as we get into it. First ban's coming out, and Freya's getting taken off the table.
Freya's gone. In response, of course, that means that Geb is going to go as well. We've seen a little bit of a separation from Athena. Geb has kind of been the staple. Athena moving away from it a little bit in the last 2 weeks or so. So we'll see what they decide to go for. Nemesis is going to be banned out here next for Exposed Secrets.
Mercury.
And then the Mercury immediately after. There's a lot of things available. Of course, Zhang Kui, Habois leaves a couple things on the table. And we know that as far as like the mid lane goes, we've seen Raw first picked a lot more recently, especially in the last
so
4
strong.
days or so.
But without Nemesis on the board, Zhang Kui is an amazing pickup.
That's right.
Gets locked in immediately. Option over to Mortality. This is, yes, more than likely going to be Raw as he's getting locked in. One more. To me, this has got to be the Rama pick.
Well, Rom seems to be the staple, right? And the biggest thing about him is that it means that you're pretty much safe to defend the Gold Fury at all times. You sit in that lane, you can pop the ultimate, you can shoot down on the Gold Fury, and very difficult for Guardians to tank it up when they're being, hailed upon from above. And so that kind of control is great. They're hovering onto a Thor right now, and looks like they're going to lock it in. We've seen Thor explode.
I mean, he's an amazing character. One of the highest skill caps, I think, in Smite. Getting a proper double tap cancel immediately into the auto attack cancel. Berserker Barrage is one of the highest damaging combos in the game. Very little you can do about it. The reaction time to try to stop him is super fast, and he's very hard to deal with, and he does great damage in groups, semi-global ultimate, great range stun. I mean, he just has a kit that you want on the team.
Well, it's also one of those things, right, where there's some abilities where if you mess it up a little, it's less effective, right?
Yeah.
But for the double tap teleport, if you do it too early, you basically lost 2/3 of your damage on that ability.
Yeah.
And then you spin, you can't get the kill. So that's the hardest part, is that if you mess up, there's no wiggle room there. You have to hit it. The second it double taps, you teleport Berserker Barrage into the wall. You have that control. But it looks like on the cross the way, we're going to get a Rom and a Mir combination.
I like this. One, because Rama's super strong. Might be the strongest hunter. Apollo, of course, has a great showing every time that we see him. But Ymir is really big here because this is going on the back of Frostiak, a player who has really brought Ymir back to the center of the meta. Super, super dangerous. You get caught by this character, you're taking maybe literally thousands of damage.
Yeah. Well, the biggest thing is that he's got that passive, too. And we've seen it before. Amir going to the jungle with no hog, doesn't really need it. As long as you leverage the passive well enough,
Gonna see the
you can
pot come
swing
out
the
in the
auto
beginning.
attacks, you can easily take that down. So we'll see if he decides to go down that road in this game. Across the way, Bakasura locked in for Mortality. Of course, we did see very high success with Bakasura, especially on players like NQ for C9. So this time around, going to be played into the solo lane. We'll see if it's going to be a bit of a difference for Sayo, of course. And it doesn't look like they've even kind of locked in their solo laner yet. Zhang Kui up in the air right now.
Right, he could go mid still. There's a lot of options open. Talking about Mortality right now, we're going to see Bakasura, of course, has been locked in. And given the fact that Bacchus is locked in, that's going to ensure that Thor is going to be your jungler. Bakasura will be going to the solo lane. Bacchus will be the support. Ra, more than likely going to be mid, so they're really just looking at their hunter at this point. Option back over to Exposed Secrets for their final 2 picks. We likely still need a support here. Still a few major picks on the table, including Athena and some Wukong. It looks like we're going to see a hover onto Athena. I think that's a smart... Oh, and a Kali.
Is that a Kali?
It is Kali indeed.
Now, I've seen some players in the darkness of Smite try to run an oboe Kali in the lane just because it allows her to clear.
Right.
And then she transcends more to that mid-game attack. I mean, what we know about Kali is that she's definitely one of the better late-game scalers. She has an incredible attack chain. The hit chain is very progressive, very fast, very equalizing. You can also have the chance to jump in and get a lot of effectiveness.
This patch does not have the medium oboe.
No, it doesn't.
There's no medium oboe. I think it's charge
There's
bow.
also no targeter. One of the biggest updates in the last patch was the targeter for Kali, where people could see their target.
Helpful than I thought it was going to be.
That's not going to be there in this patch.
At first, I thought there was a Thanatos on my team, and I didn't really understand what was going on.
But now, you like it.
It's actually pretty helpful.
Yeah.
I was actually playing yesterday with TV, and I saw the Thanatos kind of mark come up, and I'm like, but that's on Thanatos, and we don't have one. And I'm like, oh my god, that's Kali's target. So I stopped hitting it, and it actually wound up helping out a lot.
There you go.
It was pretty cool.
It's quite a life change.
But we're not going to see that here.
No, we won't.
Oh, we will not.
This is the last patch.
This is the
Yeah,
patch
so what
from
we're
a
talking
couple
about
days
here,
ago.
guys, is when someone gets into the threshold or someone is a target of Kali, if she gets that kill, she gets a massive heal for killing her target. In this patch, you won't be able to see that. One thing that we put in the last patch is that if their target is there, everyone knows where the target is on the allied side of Kali, so she makes sure to get that last hit so she gets the heal. A lot of times Kali will jump in, she won't get her target, and she'll die because the heal wasn't there. She won't really have that in this patch. We'll see how it works out for them. It looks like with the lock-in, it's going to be a solo Kali against a Baka. So we may see that full oboe opportunity, or maybe just standard hog.
Now, late game, I'm talking maybe not even late game, like the later ends of mid game even, Xaylia will be able to fight Sayo effectively.
Sure.
In the beginning, level 9 and before, if Kali walks into that fight, she is dead.
Yes.
She will get annihilated. She can be crippled. She has no real strong CC immunity. She has a stun to basically run her away, but you got to remember there's 1.5 seconds of CC immunity on Bakasura's ultimate.
Right.
She can bait it pretty hard. On top of the fact that the clear generally going to be in favor of Sayo unless he can work himself up close enough to the creeps to throw that lash out, hit all 6 from the very front. It's a tall order, especially early game where she doesn't really offer much, but that's where Frostiak comes into play.
Well, I think the big thing here is that Bakasura really excels in the self-healing department. You got the Eat minion. But one thing we keep in mind as well is that the jump for Kali has that heal when you land. So she has that kind of control where she can hit it. Of course, if Baka's full HP, it's going to be a little bit difficult. But at the same time, she has that kind of heal, good clear. And again, Baka's not the most aggressive clearer in the solo lane, so she's not going to be heavily pressured. But she has to be careful on how she's positioned. And given the fact that we don't see Kali all that much, it's a bit of a treat for you at home seeing this match. But overall, you're going to see a strong lineup here. Of course, you're watching Exposed Secrets versus Mortality there, and we're walking through the players and the gods here in just a moment. But just from the top level, I mean, what team are you taking as far as like an overall stability?
It's hard to say. Both teams have a lot going for them. Rama being a little bit stronger, I think, than Apollo right now. Zhang Kui, without having Nemesis on the field, is going to be very hard to kill, even for Bakasura in the mid game. Honestly, either teams could go for it. Speaking of the teams, as we get in there, we're going to be checking out each of these players and make a note here of the gold per minute. And mostly, I like to look at Xaylia versus Sayo. Xaylia's had so much more success. 508 versus 506, though, shows a completely different story.
Yeah, it really does. And I think that's kind of one of the biggest things about laying all 10 players out next to each other on a grid like this is you can easily see the separation of the players and how they play. In fact, currently we only have 2 members on the board that are over 500 GPM, and they're both solo laners. So you can see that kind of gold gain there. You can see that kind of control that they have in the early stage where they're just sitting there farming the lane. You can see that as far as the Hunters go, Funballer at 491 across the way, you're going to be having a very strong showing from Moex at 472. But, you know, Moex came out incredibly strong in the start of the SPL, and he's been struggling to find a strong showing.
Yeah, he has. Man, I've been looking a lot at his on-her play and his Rama play. His Rama still, in my opinion, is the strongest Rama worldwide right now, having such amazing control over the ult shots, ensuring that he had enough pressure in every game that he's played him so far to really change the feel for his team, win or lose. Now, I'm looking at the supports. Looking over at Defrezzy here, 1945, not the best kill-death ratio, comparatively to Half Devil, who's less deaths but significantly less kills. But still, Defrezzy has almost 50 more assists overall, which is such an incredible feat considering Half Devil has had such a presence in every team fight that he's been in.
He really has, and he kind of came out strong, of course, first on that original lineup for C9. He showed out to Odin and really kind of came out strong and said, hey, guys, I'm here. But again, I mean, 161 on assist is incredible for a support so far. Really, any supports that are over 150 now are great. Look at the board right now. You can see this is the first time that Sayo has played Bakasura, the first time that we've seen in the jungle picked up with Thor across the way. We do know that Xaylia is the first time he's going to be playing Kali here. But overall, look at the numbers. You can see that Emir, played by Frostiak, very strong showing. 501 there, 10-14-57. Hasn't lost a game yet with Emir in the jungle. We do see Bacchus across the way and Defrezzy 4-2-21. What a support stat right there.
So, no one has played anyone in the solo lane today. Bakasura and Kali are both going to go in blind. Now, of course, they are going to have at least some experience. They're not just going to pick characters randomly and pop quarters into the arcade machine. But there will be unfamiliarity here. whether or not, no matter how much they've played the God in ranked or how much they've played it in scrims, in tournament, it is a completely different setting. In this case, neither one's going to have an advantage throughout the course of the game, but late game, if Kali can get something big and get started with finding her marks, it's going to be super hard to take them down. With that, I'm looking at Mortality. They need a weakening curse. You have to shut Kali down.
That's right, and that's a big thing, right? If you have that weakening curse, it means the heal's nothing.
Right.
And that's one of the things that players don't really
Zero.
take into mind. Same thing goes for mana. You pop that up, you go into the ultimate, of course, you don't have that healing, which players will strategize based on the heal.
Sure.
And if they don't get it, they get nothing. Not even the heal afterwards, right? If you don't get your target and the ultimate destruction ends, you still get a minor heal. It's like 15%.
You get
on
up
top
to
of that.
15%.
That's right. So you get a little bit of HP just as a consolation prize to using the ultimate there. So going to be a little bit difficult, but it looks like we're going to be hopping the game shortly here, guys. We're going to be cutting to a brief break, and we'll be right back with Mortality starting up here in just a few moments, and we're going to be jumping on top of that. Mortality and Exposed Secrets, a great lineup.
That's yeah, I definitely agree. Both teams have pretty decent lineups here. I'm still worried about the solo. I think, if anything, Kali's going to have a much weaker early game. Bakasura has a pretty good line.
Well, he's got true damage.
Yeah, exactly. He's just going to be able to body her for the first couple of levels as long as he doesn't take too much minion damage.
Right.
The issue is that if Bakasura doesn't get Kali killed a few times and Kali starts to get ahead, there's no way to stop her from rotating.
Right.
You can't fight for mid camps anymore because she will literally just pop beads and dive you every time. What I'm interested in to see where Azalea starts off. Now, Oboe is huge for her. In the beginning, the extra attack speed makes her chain ridiculous, especially once Chins is online.
That's right.
But getting to that point means she's not going to have Heavy Hammer, which means she won't have that kind of CC that Bakasura will be able to use to lock her down. No defense. And she doesn't have a great amount of sustain in lane without having to use a ridiculous amount of mana.
That's right. It's just to jump in, get the HP gain, and all that kind of stuff, and especially spending a lot of gold. I mean, Chins is very expensive. Oboe is very expensive.
50.
Oh, my God. It's devastating. But we will be cutting to a break here shortly, guys. We're cutting right into the match. Exposed Secrets up against Mortality. Coming to you very quickly here, and we'll cut to a brief break, and we'll see you shortly. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first matchup of the day. We've got Exposed Secrets up against Mortality Esports. The players are leaving the base and getting ready to go. You already know the players here. Looking at the starting items, you can see that Sayo has gone down the road of Heavy Hammer into boots with no hog. What is your thoughts here?
Yeah, this is curious, but I think I like this because he doesn't really need the hog. I think a lot of players are underestimating or overestimating how much gold is really worth in the early game. Let a few creeps into the tower if you need to. Hand is not going to help you in the solo lane nearly as much as you think, and being able to hand the wave only allows you to become more aggressive. It doesn't really help your defense all that much. In this case, Bakasura now is going to have open slots for sprint and beads. The same thing that we're going to see from Xaylia. In fact, Xaylia actually opting into beads now, just in case he gets caught from something nasty coming out from Thor.
Well, that's right. I mean, just a little bit early on, make sure that, and she knows, right? And this is exactly what you talked about in the picky stage, that if you lose early, Kali is so hard to play with. So basically saying, I want to be safe for the first 10, 15 minutes, and then I'll farm out, and then I'm going to be strong. You can see Frosty going for his signature Emir build here. No hogs. It's a hogless jungle.
Love it.
Going into the magical pot, of course. And what it's going to use is Frostbite is his passive, and anytime he lands the 2 or the 3, he gains 50% increased auto attack damage to that target. If you leverage it properly, especially with both of those being AoE abilities, you can clear out the side camps and clear the jungle camp pretty easily without needing the hog, which means that he can go for blink and then he can go for weakening curse.
Or they could go for the invade on the bottom side. Raffer and Sayo working their way in.
I love this.
Frostiak now doesn't have Hand of the Gods, which means he is going to get this stolen away. Frostiak,
the
body
block!
blocks, playing for the Jets. Raffer is going to be able to find first blood and a red buff.
We see Xaylia coming over here, but he does not want to touch this, but 10-foot pole. Sayo, of course, and this is what I love. I mean, I think if you're going to play Bakasura, use that eat minion to your advantage. It's one of the most powerful early game abilities to have, especially in the jungle. Just go to the enemy jungle and steal camps away. And I love the fact they're leveraging that right now. And now all of a sudden, Xaylia, who, like we mentioned, has a weak level 5 to 6 range that are calling in the laning phase, now has no blue, has no experience from minions, and has to sit under tower for a long time.
Yeah, there's no way they can contest this. Xaylia at level 2, without Frostiak being level 2, they're not going to have the damage or control relevant enough. You're going to see they're not even going to contest it. Bringing Raffer actually into level 3. Sayo will be level 2 going back to lane, and Raffer will continue his dominant streak by going directly into the small camp.
Look at that. They're going to be coming through here. We're going to cut to a brief break, guys. So just pause up, and we'll see you shortly. Okay, well, welcome back, everybody.
Hi, these are
That was
cameras.
that was a good pause. That was a great pause. But now, of course, the game is paused, and we're going to be waiting for them to get back into the match. But early on, you can see this is detrimental, right? First blood has already gone down for the side of Mortality. They got that pick there on Frostiak, and of course, he's been playing Emir, which is going to slow down his jungle. Emir doesn't have the quickest jungle clear because he's not a very fast character, and the fact that he doesn't have Hog is going to facilitate the fact that he's going to have trouble catching up. Same thing goes for Zaylee in the solo lane. So early on, a big gain here for Mortality in the beginning, more so than it seems.
Yeah, I mean, taking that pot away, that's 450 gold.
That's right.
First blood, 500 gold. That's a 1,000 gold swing on top of the fact that they're already 900 ahead.
Yeah.
So you have to consider the fact that they're well into the 13s. And like you said, Frostiak without that pot is not going to have the same amount of jungle clear. In fact, you're kind of aiming more towards a Mercury, a character who does not clear very quickly early on, or Kali. He's going to have trouble.
Well, I mean, he used the pot and lost it, so of course doesn't have the Hog either. And so the fact that that was used, wasted gold, wasted experience, wasted clear. And I think that's really what they decided to do, right? They got Blackster and Thor, very good invaders.
Right,
and you also look at the fact
invaders.
that they have a pot on the enemy jungle, which is then even more incentive to do it. And so they go and they steal
And
away.
no
And I can
Hog,
see
which
him-
means it's guaranteed on
That's
the steal.
it. I mean, it was an easy 1-2 punch for them. Now Raffer taking the whole back line of jungle, going for the movement speed buff here now to secure this one. This is huge.
And the pressure coming out from Thexus in the middle ensures that Raffer is going to have a free swing here, level 4. Even if he gets caught at this point, there's no experience for Frostiak to gain. The poor guy's still level 2. He's doing a small camp right now. This is trouble.
That is rough. Now Raffer going to go back to his side. Of course, you look at the map here. He's got the entire jungle on his side
yeah.
to clear. I mean, this is just more money, more experience, more gold. And now, all of a sudden, this whole map is open for Mortality. Left side damage coming out of Moex here. There's a belly flop. There's the Serenade slowing down Half Devil. Good harassment coming out from Funballer.
Fresi's though.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's completely out of mana. Red buff going to be dropped. It looks like he's going to save that for a bit, just hanging out on the floor there. That's going to probably be picked up by Fexus as Raffer will take his first back.
Right side diving. He's going to go after it. Nice stun by Zaylee. He's going to die to the baby minions. But a wonderful stun and good time side diving. Very deep there using the ultimate. He knew that he had the level advantage and the fact that Kali did not have level 5 at the time, which is kind of your time to go.
Right. I like that. I like that trade, honestly, for Zalia, because Zalia's getting gold, Sayo's getting gold, but Zalia will use that gold more effectively as we start getting towards the 10-minute mark. Looking into the build here, it looks like nothing. He has 1,000 gold in hand. He has literally bought nothing.
He bought more health potions what he bought. He actually went back and got more health potions, another ward, and come back in the lane. Thor up in the mid lane here, looking for Shadow Nightmare. Gonna find the dunk. Purification speeds immediately. Searing Pain gonna miss, and that's a pretty great reaction from Shadow Nightmare. Almost casual.
Yeah, not a great reaction, though, from Fexus, who misses the Searing Pain off the stun. Right camp's going to be spawning here. This one's going to go for Freedom Mortality. Left camp getting swarmed from the guys on Exposed Secrets, who are at a rather large deficit, 1,600 gold, actually closer to 15 now. Separate the two teams, on top of the fact that, again, Frostiak lost that potion. Now, when it comes down to it, you start the game off, you didn't even need a ward to know how Frostiak was going to start this game. When something is so tried and true and so tested and has worked so often, there's no reason to switch it up. Now, the guys on Mortality did their homework, recognized this, took that potion away, stopped his jungle by letting Thor, an amazing early game jungler, strip away literally every camp on the map. And now, level 5's allowing him to gank, they're rotating strongly, and poor Frostiak still trying to catch back up.
Well, I mean, he's at the same point that Bacchus is at right now. Just barely getting level 5. The gold is almost identical here between the jungler and the enemy support, who had to go home early because he ran out of mana. So this is just a big loss for Exposed Secrets early. And I look at the gold numbers, it's going to support that. They're already about a gold fury ahead here with 1,400 gold in the lead, 886 experience as well. Now, again, they do have a strong late game team, but look at this pressure.
I thought Sayo was going to try to... Actually, Raffer's going to see him doing this. He'll be spotted by a ward. Frostiak has Glacier Strike coming back online. He's going to use his ultimate. Is it going to clear it? Are we going to see Mjolnirs? No, it does clear it. Frostiak really in trouble here. Oh, still gets the teleport. Surprise. Zalia a little bit early on the stun.
Damage there coming out, forcing him back down to about 300 HP here. And the big thing is that you got Junkway in the mid lane. He's not a fast rotator, and he's not someone that is able to rotate right now with the amount of pressure that's coming out from Fexes. And so there's no help coming. They're pretty much on their own, and they have to give away a lot of ground just to make sure they don't give away any kills.
That's right. So I want to talk a little bit about Thor here. Now, what you saw there is Raffer just barely escaping. Now, how his teleport works is he throws the hammer. and at any point can press the 1 key again to teleport to its location. As a counter Thor play, what you want to see is a person using their CC when that Thor, almost has the hammer thrown at its apex. You want to see it kind of at like the 80 to 100% mark, stun them out for a second. By the time they can teleport, they'll only be able to get a few paces ahead of you. At that point, you can reposition yourself while attacking in front of him and close the difference even harder. But consider, in the beginning of the game, Warrior's Madness is going to give him 15 actual physical power per god that's near him on the enemy team. Now, early game, that's huge. That's a huge portion of his power. In fact, getting 2 people near him will effectively double his in-hand gain that he has already gotten, of course, from Warrior Tabby. But late game, that percentage starts to go down. 15 doesn't matter as much. So early game, you got to watch out for characters like Thor and characters like Bakasura. Whereas late game, you have to watch out a lot more for characters like Kali and Sean Quay. So really, all Exposed Secrets have to do here is hold out for a little while, and their characters will come online.
We also think about the benefit of having a Raw on your team, too. This is damage on the right side. Xaylia taking a sum from Sayo. Of course, Sayo had already thrown his ultimate on top of Xaylia under that tower just about 30 seconds ago or so. But again, that Raw is always that missing component that lets teams kind of sit in siege mode and just keep pushing. Sit under the heel, come back, and just absorb the poke and continue the fight, whereas the enemy team starts to whittle down here. Thor looking for the ult, gonna go up into the air here, looking for Xaylia. Xaylia has no idea. He doesn't even have wards. The dunk comes out. The damage is coming through. No CC immunity at all.
And that's the Athena
that is
ult
just
too.
Dead. Yeah, that's a free shot there.
Now, that Athena ult is a big loss, and not just for the reason that he didn't get the protections off. By not getting that rotation, over on the right side, a bunch of creeps were actually just given away to that tower. No experience gained on the right side, not only wasting the cooldown, but mid lane, Shadow Nightmare actually gets a huge double stun, stopping the burb, gets a really nice card off as well, keeping himself very close to full health. Sending away Frezzy as well. Exposed still pretty far behind here, including that potion, are getting very close to 2,400 gold down.
I think one of the benefits for Exposed Secrets is the fact that 4 out of the 5 players on their team can interrupt that belch while it's channeling. I mean, you got Shadow Nightmare with, of course, the spin stun, the Book of Demons. Xaylia can throw down the incense, stun him out. Frostek with the Frost Breath can interrupt it, and of course, Half Devil can throw out that Confound with a taunt and interrupt him and actually force him into a worse position than he was when he started the belch.
That and Funball has CC immunity on his ultimate and a dash away. Like, why not?
And Frostek CC immunity as well. We've got CC immunity there for Half Devil on Athena, so a lot of control on the side of Exposed Secrets will prevent them from getting caught too quickly and easily. I think really the main burn here for Mortality is going to be their damage dealt. I mean, you got Apollo and Bakasura plus Thor, and a good control there, and distance from Ra. No one really factors in the fact that Ra can deal damage from a very safe distance. A lot of times you don't expect him to contribute to a fight when you don't even know where he is. Look at the active items right now. You can see both support, actually just one support. Half Devil on tier 1 Hand of Gods. Frezzy rushing this tier 3. I wonder if they're going to try and go for a Gold Fury.
I like the tier 3 rush, especially on the team that's in the lead. When you're in the lead, get more in the lead. That's the best way to play Smite. Look for objectives. If you can't get the objectives, bait your team or your enemies into a fight you know they can't win. And right now, Mortality has that on lock. Moex is ahead right now. Frezzy a level behind, but gold-wise, not doing too badly. 4,100 compared to Half Devil's 42. And Half Devil, hasn't really had won't have as much of a play in team fights as Bacchus will, given that Intoxicate is a nightmare.
Right on the left side, going down here, you see Half Devil taking some damage, but looking for the follow-up. Of course, Half Devil's pretty safe here.
Going in.
Funballer. There's the dash, actually forcing back. I like the use of cooldowns there. Just forcing the dash from Funballer. Half Devil trying to use some cooldowns to get interrupted. I like the fact that they're also putting vision in the enemy jungle here for Exposed Secrets. So you see the red ward on the right side covering that whole rotation from the solo lane. You see a red ward down towards the mid lane. Of course, just ended up going down. Of course, Frezzy's now going to run through the jungle and check to see if there's anyone there. Into the Fire Giant area goes Raffer, and as we all know, Thor, Thanatos, these kind of characters will go into a Gold Fury or Fire Giant camp area just to get that global out. We do see rotation from Frezzy in the mid lane here as Vexez tries to join him. Half Devil is now alone. It looks like they're looking for opportunity to go for this Gold Fury. They actually do know that the rotation from Funballer went back to the base.
Mid camps, left side, Mortality actually forcing away Exposed Secrets. Right side hasn't spawned yet, but Thor trying to keep Shadow Nightmare out. Misses the return shot on Mjolnir's, but I don't think he's leveling it. That was not enough damage to warrant a big hit from what should have been a maxed. Yeah, it looks like he's going into Berserker Barrage.
Yes, we were seeing a lot of Thors actually in the last week or so pick up Berserker Barrage instead of Hammer. Now, of course, those of you who don't know, the Hammer will do damage on the way out and do double damage on the way back if it hit both ways, which of course is about 3 times times the amount of damage there, which makes a huge difference. And previously, it was one of those things where occasionally you have people go for the hammer, some people go for the 3, but what happened is about 2 or 3 months ago, Thor had the animation as 1 increased by a lot. It's much faster, and so people are starting to pick up that 1 and level it up just for the free damage.
Right, it's a little over 600 damage with proper scaling if you're close enough, and you can combo into it left side.
Gold Fury.
Oh, they reset it. Funball didn't quite get there in time.
They saw
They're
Fexes.
charging ults, actually. Athena actually maybe going to be going in, yeah, to Shadow Nightmare's safety here. I don't think she needed to burn that cooldown. Blinking in, Frostiak gonna get the freeze maybe. Yes, gets it onto Fexes. The DR is gonna activate, but not nearly enough. Yeah, Thor might be coming in here. Frezzy trying to turn this one around. Double stun coming out. Whoa, and there's Moex as well. Right into the Frostiak. Oh, Raffer taking a lot of damage. Doesn't teleport either, but they get the pickup. A 3v2 right now is gonna get changed to a big swing for Mortality. Funball, nowhere to go. Actually, gets his
nice Quadra taunt there coming up from half to the tower. They go looking for the damage on Frezzy. They're going to find it here. Zaylee is in damage range, looking for the follow-up. Doesn't have the jump anymore, and they're dashing away just fine. I think what really facilitated that fight was the fact that Exposed Secrets went a little bit further than they should have, but also the fact that Moex got a great engagement and pop sprint the second he landed, which means he could spread his team out, get some good distance, and got a lot of damage out. I mean, you look at the damage numbers so far as what's been done. You see Moex sitting at a very strong 5,000 here. That's actually going to be the most in the game just for player damage dealt, and a lot of it comes from that last team fight.
Right there, Zalia forced to jump away as an ultimate coming out from Bakasura. Sayo, not having nearly enough damage, has opted into boots instead of Fatalis, something we're seeing a little bit more often. Though at the same time, Fatalis at this level will grant so much more. He's actually veering away from it completely. Executioner gets picked up there, as well as the Warrior Tabby. So he'll have a decent amount of damage, a ton of penetration, but the attack speed a little lacking.
Hog 3 was picked up for half double, so now they have that Gold Fury secure if they need it. Tier 3, greater purification there for Zalia and Shadow Nightmare. They do not want to get caught by that Thor double stun or any of the follow-up that comes with it, belly flop or the knock-up and slow from the Apollo. Makes a big difference, especially for slow characters like Zhang Kui. When they get caught out with a slow, it's really, really tough. You look across the way, most supports are kind of looking for that sovereignty as fast as they can. Looks like half devil's a little bit further along with that steel mail. Frezzy still sitting on his iron mail right now. Fexes looks like he's heading towards that Book of Thoth, I would imagine, just to rush that up early. And it's a great pickup for Ra. Allows him to heal more and also deal a lot more damage.
So left side, again, Funballer kind of locked under this tower here. Now, he did find a decent amount of gold in assists. He's at 5,600 right now, but I'm looking at Moex, almost 6,300, and of course, that's without the Gold Fury. He really hasn't been a part of the, the early game invades or anything like that. It's all coming from the last team fight. Mortality has just kind of inched their way front to back in the lead. You still see them 2,800 of gold ahead, and again, guys, that's without any objectives.
Ooh, Shadow Nightmare taking a lot of damage in the mid lane. Great time from Half Devil to interrupt. Thor going up in the air, though. He's running through the jungle. Will he find his target? There goes Athena ultimate. Actually goes for the stun. Missing the stun. Damage coming out here. X is not going to be able to heal, and there goes the kill. Shadow Nightmare will be going down. Frostiak looking for something. He does not have Blink. He just used it. Nice wall to split them out. Actually forces the leash from Gold Fury. Good control on Fex says he will fall to Funball there. Up there goes Moex. Will he be able to make a difference in this fight? Going to force Half Devil out of the fight for a brief second. Up in the air, going to do some damage here. His Funballer looking for Raffer. Can he find it? I don't imagine they'll try to commit to this too hard. Frostiak, great wall to slow them down. And here comes Zalia.
This is where the fight's going to turn here. Sayo taking a huge damage from the big combo coming out from Zalia. Funball reinitiates, finds many shots onto Raffer, forcing him away, not missing a single shot in that engagement. And just like that, Exposed Secrets turn it back around in the mid lane. Sayo looking at a mid tower for 500 gold. They can't afford this. Both hand threes for both teams are online, and Frezzy trying to make something happen. He's going to take too much damage. They have way too much CC, but he's going to go for it. Can he even get out of the ground? No!
That's what I'm talking about. They have so many ways to interrupt that belch that's not really guaranteed. You find it early, and it's a great play there from Frezzy, just hoping to step out of line, charge the belch, go inside, and get the stun. Of course, those of you who don't know, if you are above Tipsy on Bacchus, which is his Drunkometer, that means that the end of the channeling of the belch will have a cone stun in front of you, but it has to be the end of the channel. So for whatever reason gets interrupted during that channeling process, it means you get no stun involved. And of course, 4 out of the 5 people on Exposed Secrets can stop that channel. And so he tries to go away, but there's a lot of CC on the side of Exposed Secrets. One thing we should probably note here is the fact that Zalia started this game, very down and out. Got a 1-for-1 exchange in the tower, started the game 1-1, and now he's sitting 4-2. He's actually on a 3 times killing spree. and chin size are done.
I'm looking at Frezzy here, and this is trouble. Sovereignty not online, no second active, and has now opted into a Sentry Ward, which is not going to help him at this stage of the game. It's very unlikely the Sentry Ward's going to do much besides put him back 135 gold in hand right now. He's sitting on about 800, which means he's pretty close to getting the Sovereignty finished. Had he actually not bought that Sentry Ward, he could have had it online right now, but he's still going to be a little ways away. Half Devil already online. As they go into the next team fight phase, we're going to see these mid camps coming up, and Bacchus is not going to have the same amount of control.
Yeah, Bacchus is one of those interesting characters to be incredibly powerful. He's one of those characters that jump in and change the whole, especially with the ultimate. Intoxicate, one of the most powerful ultimates in the entire game, forcing you to move the entire time, forcing you to kind of wobble to and fro, unable to aim your abilities, which is a great pick against these single target players like Zalia, like Funblower. So damage coming out the mid lane here as the stun comes out. There's the wall. And your ultimate can be well placed, forcing Fexes back towards the tower. Wasn't channeled for very long though. Looking for Raffer, force up in the air. Go look for the card. Needs access. Ooh! Just barely missing the timing on the exorcism there. May or may not have gotten the kill, but was very, very close.
All the while, I just see Moex just kind of pushing in, right side, more damage going through. Sayo has had the most beautiful eat minions, baiting Zalia into a ton of damage, but Sayo at this point cannot trade anymore with Kali. It's just not going to happen. Kali is too strong. Again, forcing the beautiful lash. He's bleeding! He's bleeding! He's bleeding! Can he eat it? Oh my god, one more tick would have did it. Takes a meal. Zalia not letting this one go. He knows he's in trouble here. Misses the stun.
Nice beats.
Lash is not going to help him either. Shadow Nightmare finding a kill into
Thor's
Fexes.
here.
This is a lot of trouble here for Moex. He might get slowed up on. No, he finds the kill.
In the mid lane though, the fight coming down here. Frosting already going to die. There's the stun coming out for Shadow Nightmare. Belch the Gods coming out here. It looks like they're going to be able to clean up Moex. Frezzy's got to get the belly flop. He gets it, squishing it down. It's going to be overall a 2-for-1 or 3-for-1 exchange.
Wait, Zalia died?
2-for-3 exchange. Zalia ended up getting picked off. You mean he was in the backside?
Oh man,
he ran up and Thor appeared there, taking him down. Now looking for more fights though. Funballer will go down to the damage from Thor. Thor able to get over there just in time. Half Devil trying to get away. There's the belly flop. Will he be able to escape here? He should have a preemptive strike coming up shortly.
Was bad
there's
there.
the hammer. There's the damage. There's the spin to win. Half Devil got to prime that preemptive strike. Gonna get it there, and it looks like he's
No, he's still going for it. Bacchus taking a very awkward route. Nice bait coming out. Raffer still has a lot of damage. Can he find it? One more hit's gonna do it. Can he get out of there?
Nope.
No, he cannot.
Too strong. Taunt, one of the best abilities to have when you're defending a tower. I mean, literally, it guarantees that the target will have tower aggro, because then they're forced to attack you. They're going to hit you anytime you source damage on an enemy god. When you're under enemy tower, the tower will immediately turn to you. So forcing him in a corner there, I think he probably could have utilized the pocket there behind the tower a little bit better, but I think it would have been a lot better for them if they were able to kind of spread out the kills a little bit. I mean, Exposed Secrets, of course, Zalia getting greedy near the tower, diving, trying to pick up Sayo, couldn't get the kill on that one. Then he kind of rotated back over the gold 3. We saw a mid-camp death there for Shadow Nightmare, kind of having trouble rotating back over the gold 3, now under pressure, and then Half Devil just stuck in way too long.
Half Devil, yeah. That, I was really surprised that he actually got picked off there. Frezzy took a very awkward route, no body blocks coming through at all whatsoever. But it looks like we're going to have a little bit of trouble with our spectator, guys. We're going to be right back in a few seconds, hopefully with this game, so stick around.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Just to recover from what's happened so far, today is the second day of the 6th week of SPL. We've had 2 matches lined up for EU. The first one was going to be Mortality versus Exposed Secrets. The second was SK versus Coast. Unfortunately, we had a small technical difficulty in both matches, and we'll be hopping back into the very beginning of the day. We'll be starting with Mortality versus Exposed Secrets here as the first match, and we'll go straight to the second one after that. These matches have been completed, and we're going to go right into it to watch it, but welcome back, everybody.
Hello, hello, hello. Exposed Secrets versus Mortality going into this. Exposed Secrets does lead the set 2-0, but in this game, Mortality has the upper hand at 3-1.
So just to jump back into this, guys, we're 10 minutes into the match. This is about when it cut out before. And one thing to keep in mind is that Frostiak ended up going for Hogless Amir in the jungle with Pot. We saw Mortality invade for first blood, killing off Frostiak, taking the pot away, and then made a very big deal out of it. Zalia and Sayo went head-to-head in the solo lane. They traded blow for blow there. As Sayo dived to the tower, couldn't get Zalia, they both died, and it was a 1-for-1 exchange. And now we're at the point where we're 3-1, a slight lead, actually a pretty strong lead, about 2,500 gold here for Mortality as a fight breaks out in the mid lane.
Now, this is something that we've seen. Vexus takes a lot of damage, goes down very quickly. And as we start to get right back to where we were to begin with, you're going to see a big shot coming in from Thor. There he is. Frostiak going to do a lot of damage here, but he's super low already. Watch Moex as he just starts to rave in the damage. Sayo comes in, but watch your mini-map. Zalia is coming.
Dale's going to jump over here, look for the follow-up. There's a great four-man
Four-man
taunt from Half Devil. Stun with the incense. There goes the lash. Tower's going to kill off Frezzy. Double kill for Zalia. Now we see Moex trying to get out of this fight. Looks like Zalia has just taken his winnings and stowed them. He doesn't want to really go for too much here. He got a good recovery. It turns out to be a 3-for-3, an even exchange for both teams. Mortality will still be ahead about 2,300 gold right now. 6-4 here at the 11-minute mark, but no gold fairies have been taken yet, and no towers have fallen.
That's right. At 4-6, you're going to see Saya waste the ultimate here. Zalia gets away very easily. Now, looking at Zalia, almost 6,000 gold, 3-2-0 puts him pretty far ahead in terms of KDA to Sayo. But overall, Sayo still has the advantage, 6,500 gold, full executioner purchase. Looking at Zalia, balanced blade online, not quite the chins that he's going to need. He could also go into the oboe. Now remember guys, this is the patch previously from last week, which means there is no short bow in the game just yet. This is still oboe coming off a balanced blade.
Yep, still in its separate tree there, not on its own tree just yet. It hasn't moved out of its parents' house and found its own home yet, so I think he's standing inside of that balanced bow tree. We're going to see Sprint 3 active for Funballer, which, used to small effect there, but I think the biggest thing was the Sprint 3 for Moex in that last fight. He dashed horizontally, getting the movement speed increase and slowing 3 targets, and then also activating the Sprint Active means that he was not slowable by any means and really couldn't keep up there. We're going to see Funballer kind of holding this lane, letting it push, knowing that Frezzy is there, but not knowing where Moex is until right now where he sees him running towards him on the screen. You will see that. Witchblade looks like it's going to be the first item for Frostiak to start out with here just to prevent the damage. You got physical from 3 very strong burst targets on Mortality with Thor, Apollo, and Bakasura, and especially given the fact that Executioner is online, penetration is a real thing.
That's right. Penetration is going to play a big role in this, especially once we start seeing the Sovereignty come online. There's some Witchblades getting started as well. Deep side, Sayo going to jump away. Frostiak looking super weak this game. This is, in fact, the first time I think we've seen Frostiak's Ymir not do well, let alone maybe even not even go even. I mean, he is usually
left side, though.
such a
Nightmare in trouble here, running away. The Sun from the Thor's not going to land and look for the kill. Can they find it? The heal, but the body block comes out. Raffer will be stopped, and there goes the kill. It's going to be 1-4-0 exchange. The Gold Fury is available. Nice wall from Frostiak. Funball is in the fight here, looking for Fexus. Fexus dropping very low. They're going to finish him off there with the Glacial Strike, but here comes Moex from above. Look for the split. Going to force Half Devil out of the fight. Going to find Frostiak here with the Sun. Rom's up in the air. Can he find enough damage to force him down, though? There goes Funballer. Frostiak with a long escape route. Looking for the Serenade. Good wall to slow them down. Half Devil's out of the fight, leaving Zalia exposed, but here comes the turnaround.
This is where we're going to see Moex, actually Raffer do basically a big escape in the backline. Funballer missing basically nothing. Zalia will find a kill onto Moex, and Exposed Secret starts to make their way back in. Now here, we're going to see a free Gold Fury for Exposed Secrets. We're also going to see the Bacchus get picked up as we saw before. Mid lane, Sayo is going to get this tower, and this is where we're going to be right before we went into the pause here. And this is going to be a big play here for Exposed Secrets, tying up the kill marker, gaining the Gold Fury, actually almost evening out the gold, despite the fact that Sayo was able to take that 1,200 separating the teams, as opposed to a large 3,500 gold lead, which once separated them.
Well, I see Sayo taking that mid tower and jumping out, and he knew that he really couldn't contribute anything to the Gold Fury defense, and so I'm going to gain free 500 gold for my team, and it was a great escape route as well. The second the tower was down, he didn't try to waste any time attacking Shadow Nightmare, jumped over the wall and disengaged. Zalia returning to the solo lane here will find no Sayo, has already left the lane to go on home. What will he purchase? Going to finish off Greater Purification here on Sayo, 2-1 and 2. Leaves him enough gold to finish off both his actives early on, and because he didn't go hog, of course, he has Purification Beads and Sprint active.
Looking at Frostiak, 3-2-1 off of a 0-1-0 start, given the fact that he also lost 450 gold out the gate. Puts him in a great spot. Now, Raffer behind by 100 gold, but you should note that he's technically still about 300 gold ahead, roll to roll, jungler to jungler because of the potion loss. Even so, Frostiak had a much larger role in the previous fight than Raffer, who was basically just forced out.
We're going to see an ultimate come up from Sayo, forcing the jump there. Of course, Purification Beads prevented the cripple where the Regurgitate lands. That is a crippled area, and so Zalia would not be able to jump unless outside of it. So pop the Purification Beads and jumping out. It's a big cooldown usage there from Zalia. And a bit of a win for Sayo, but of course he does not have his ultimate any longer. Both mid camps are respawning here. They are on a 3-minute timer, 15 minutes, and about 45 seconds they will be back up. There goes the left one spawning already. Raph with a double stun, double hammer damage coming through here. Fexa is going to miss another ultimate this game as they continue onward.
You're going to see Half Devil get a stack onto the passive. Vexus will take some damage. Now watch Frostiak as he's going to keep Vexus out. If he's not careful, he's going to be able to run that down with the Glacial Strike one more time. You see him actually running away here. Vexus will stay safe inside the heal. Right side, it looks like once again the solo laners are starting to group up. Tayo taking some serious damage, whereas Salia hasn't taken too much, but he put himself directly in the line of the Butcher's Blades.
Getting pretty low here. It's looking like Zalia might want to go in on this. Tayo dropping low, about 300 gold. There's the jump in. Look for the lash. Nice prediction there. Is he going to tick down? He's dropping low. Is he going to fall? Looks like he will. Not still alive. Eat Minion keeps him up here. Oh, is Zalia not done? Sprinting back in here. Look for the damage. You're going to find it. Sprint activation. There goes the incense. Jumping over the tower. He is A-okay, but Thor is on the way as a fight breaks on the mid lane. Berserker Barrage will take Zalia down. Back over the mid lane. We're going to see the fight continue on here. Frostiak goes down. Shadow Nightmare in trouble.
You see Moex is very low. Keep your eyes on the health bars, guys. Moex going to drop to Half Devil as Frezzy picks up a support on each side getting kills. As they're chasing into Frezzy here, they're going to notice they're running into Raffer. Not the greatest play here. Fumball with no mana could be in trouble. It's up to Half Devil to try to peel. Not getting the double tap, going right for Berserker Barrage. We'll pick that up, and now Half Devil in a lot of trouble here. This is one of the last kills that we saw before the pause here. Now, watch Raffer's route, kind of taking a curious run back. I don't think he thought Raffer was going to continuously go for this. Now, despite the fact that Raffer has a clear line here, the juke back's going to be big. He baits it into the tower, taking 2 shots. Here comes the taunt into the shield wall, stuck inside of it, and one more will do it.
You know, honestly, could have waited there. Now, one thing we did see there, just rolling it back slightly at the Gold Fury, we did see Raffer actually miss the double tap on the hammer, and I believe he did that just because he knew the taunt was coming out from behind him. Half Devil was on his tail, and so it's better to get a single source of damage on the hammer and miss the backswing than it is to not be able to teleport at all and lose the kill on Funballer. So he took that sacrifice, got the kill. Now, they chased Half Devil back over to the tower. A nice prediction from Half Devil means the stun's not going to land, but realistically, it comes down to more in-context thinking, right? I mean, a lot of times you want to use the hammer to get the kill always, but I think at that point he could have waited 2 or 3 more seconds, get the Berserker Barrage, get the kill, and then be able to hammer out after the inevitable taunt.
Shadow Nightmare, getting that E-Staff online immediately. Ethereal is locked in, ready to go. With that, I'm curious to see what he's going to build after. Now, some people like to just build this for a small amount of damage and the extra sustain, which will be really good considering there is no percents that you can really do here. We don't have a Geb ult or a Nemesis ult. And actually looking at Bakasura will actually be much weakened by this item because that true damage does not do as effectively into health mitigation as it does to protection, since it would be just completely negated.
The choice for all you out there between Warlock Sash and Ethereal Staff really comes down to how much free time you have. A lot of players, especially with the mid tower down and right tower down, maybe Shadow Nightmare's feeling, I don't have time to stack up 100 stacks for my Warlock Sash. It's better for me to get the E-Staff and be more involved with fights than trying to find the stacks here. Nice double stun hammer, Searing Pain on Shadow Nightmare, forcing him out of the fight. He's body blocked. He's too big for that hole, and he's going to actually back off here as the rotation does come on through. One thing to note here, DM Zalia is going straight into crit. He's got that short sword ready to go.
That's right. I mean, he needs it. He needs to get as much damage online as possible. Usually, though, with the current, I guess, recent rush into Oboe, your attack speed is stronger, which makes overall chin size much stronger, meaning crits are less important. It's also much cheaper, so it's curious to see him go that route. Blinking in, Frostiak actually forces the escape of 4 people. Fexus and Moex were way too close to that Gold Fury. They are ranged characters. They should be back a little bit farther, and because of that, they could have had a reinitiation there, but unfortunately, they were all forced away, running straight off of the freeze.
It's something we saw yesterday, DM, in the way that because the build Frostiak is going, he's putting a lot of pressure on a Shadow Nightmare, Zalia, and Funballer to do damage. He's got Witchblade into Winged Blade, which means that his damage is very minimal. You get a full stacked ultimate, it's probably going to do maybe 250, 300 damage. Not enough to warrant the fact that he was standing there channeling for a full 3 seconds. It's difficult to justify that. Gold Fury starting up here. There goes the teleport coming out from Raffer. They're going to leash it out away, and oh, Thor's going up.
Frezzy is the only one to take the freeze there. Sayo actually utilizing the wall well. Shadow Nightmare getting taken very low as the Athena ult comes out for mitigation. Raffer taking a lot. Raffer also out of mana, but Moex coming in from the save. Eyes on Fumball in the air. Finds one. Can he find the third? No, he does not. Looking at Funballer trying to escape here. Moex pops the sprint, finds the Serenade, and now poor Funballer fighting 4.
I respect his choice to fight there. I think he had no chance of getting out, and really, he didn't really have a chance of getting a kill either. But at least with the one that he deals damage in, they have less of a chance to get the gold free. But again, with Zaylia across the map, there's no gain there. 4,900 gold in the lead for Mortality. Going to get slightly higher than that as they're able to clear out the right mid camp and clear a couple waves, whereas Exposed Secrets is getting nothing. In the meantime, though, Zaylia was able to clear out that right side tower, mitigating the 1,500 gold gain from Gold Fury for Mortality, down to about 1,000 just because that tower on the right side is worth 500 gold. Raffer decides to skip the Shifter Shield / Hide of the Urchin and go for Magi's Blessing here. What are your thoughts?
Magi's Blessing is the perfect pickup, allowing him to rush in there completely unsafely, pop it, and then still have the beads for when he needs it for more of an aggressive route, using it for cooldown reduction. That makes for a lot more counterplays, and I think it's a great build coming out from Rafter. And now, Shifter Shield going to put 60 damage on the board above 50% health. This is going to be a massive, massive amount of damage. Couple that with Warrior's Madness, you're looking at like 170 in team fights, and you do not want to get hit by a Thor rocking that kind of damage.
Oh, Shifter Shield is such a fantastic item for Thor. Thor going up, speaking of which. Frostic backing away here. Zaylia coming to the fight. I don't imagine Rafter will initiate. Looks like his team is disengaging. He's going to go back to the back jungle where there is no jungle camps at all. Looks like he thought there was a back harpy or something along those lines. The right side blue buff will be taken here for the solo. Imagine will be going to Zaylia here. Zaylia getting closer and closer to that crit. I imagine he will be going for Rage here. They're not in a good spot for him to be rushing Deathbringer, given the fact that they are a pretty significant 6,000 gold behind Mortality. 16 to 10, 22 minutes into the match. The Fire Giant is standing tall. Left side, we do see Moex pressuring Funballer into a corner. Damage coming out here. Look for the follow-up. Can he find the kill? Get a few more shots. He'll do it. If the ultimate buys time, still alive. Popping the ultimate. Oh, I don't know if he's going to take this.
Oh, how long can they wait each other out? Can't see the mana right now, but is he hovering around?
Oh,
He's
Fire Giant! I love it.
Baits. He forced out the global ultimate from Athena. Kali is in the area, but does she have the presence long enough to get Frostyak in there? Raffer trying to keep out Zaylia. Zaylia has done basically no damage at this point. Fire Giant getting low. There comes Frostyak. Misses the freeze completely as the Regurgitate comes out. Raffer's going to be able to find it right there with the help of Frezzy. Intoxicate finds 2. Mortality on Prime to take their first win against Exposed Secrets, and it's off a great play coming out right there from Moex.
Shadow Hammer going down there. Frostic will follow the damage from Moex. Dashing forward is Half Devil. We do see Funballer in the wake, trying to disengage here, but they're all on focus there for Half Devil and Zaylia. Teleport. Berserker Barrage going to come out shortly. Actually avoids the taunt there just a little bit. Funballer dashing into the tower range. Zaylia going to head it on home, but the major mistake they made there, DM, is we saw Frostyak engage in the ultimate, which committed him. He wasn't able to get over, and Half Devil was not in position to secure that Fire Giant. They didn't have that support mindset to get to the Fire Giant and be in melee range to secure
Jeepers, creepers, goodbye. Funball gets picked off immediately just for moving forward, and I got 2 words for you guys. Raw heal. They are here to stay. Phoenix going down 19 to 10. Mortality at 24 minutes has complete control.
Mid Phoenix going down. Left tower is being pinged right now by Mortality. They're heading over there to take this down. There's not a whole lot that Exposed Secrets can do to contest it. I mean, they're currently sitting 9,000 gold behind. They don't have Fire Giant, and none of the players on Mortality have been stripped of this buff. They're all standing tall, and you're exactly right. The raw heal keeps them going. They're almost eternal at this point. They have so much healing potential to just stay alive and stay in the fight. Exposed Secrets now needs to try to make a play for something, but Gold Fury's not up, and there's not really any towers they can take safely.
In a pretty close game, Mortality randomly puts themselves ahead 9,200 gold, on top of the fact that the experience is really peeling away. 2 level 20s right now on the board for Mortality, lowest level 16, and then 2 19s on the board as well. I would like to see the Raw hit 20 sooner rather than later. Searing Pain getting that extra boost in damage will be huge. Raffer, a boost in damage to Anvil of Dawn, not going to be too much of a game changer, so at this point he is well past his critical mass. Over on the other side, Zaylia is on Kali, a character that never gets weaker throughout the game. She's consistently getting stronger, but we're not seeing her get into the places she needs to get to. At 4-3-1 with Rage and Shin Size, she should be doing more damage. The issue here is she's not getting started. She's got to use the beads and the sprint effectively. They cannot be reactionary. He has to go for it.
The problem with Exposed Secrets so far is their timing positioning has been off ever so slightly. They're either scrambling to start the fight or they're scrambling to counter-initiate. Either way, it's not a good look for Exposed Secrets. They need a strong initiation, catching Mortality off guard. Across the way, I respect Mox's choice here to use the massive gold gain they have now to rush that Deathbringer down and get it completed before anything else. Even if he just went straight into Titan's Bane right now, he would be golden as far as damage dealt, especially against tanky targets across the way.
I was thinking the same thing. I think I would have liked to see a Titan's Bane and then maybe even a little bit more attack speed, utilizing extra damage against the objectives. And since they have the Fire Giant for that extra damage already, he doesn't need that Deathbringer. He's looking for split pushes, which means he's paying for crit, and he's paying for crit damage, 2 stats that he will not be using in the next 10 seconds.
Stun on Zalia, Hammer coming out doing about 400 damage there. Zalia dropping down to about 80% HP. All the towers have been destroyed here. 4 exposed secrets. They're now down on their last leg. 2 Phoenix is still standing. The mid Phoenix will be up in a few moments, and they have to make sure they nurture it properly. Look at their vision control here. They have put this little Venn diagram V in the middle, covering all their lanes, the mid jungle rotations. The Gold Fury started up here for Mortality. We do see a lot of vision for them as well, covering any jungle rotations that exposed secrets could have. And this pushes the graph even lower, down to about 14,000 gold in favor of Mortality. Exposed secrets needs to come up with an answer.
Raffer actually going into Warrior's Bane right there. Moex going back into crit as the short sword comes out, granting him another 10% critical chance, which means every 1 in 3 shots is going to go 2.5 times the normal damage. On top of the fact that he's also going to be stripping away protections with that Executioner. Moex right now probably has the highest damage potential overall. Following up on that, Sayo definitely high up there. You can see, I mean, crits online, Executioner, decent amount of attack speed, but curiously no Oboe, no chin size, no haste and fatalis. He has gone into basically just damage.
See Zalia picking up that light sword there. Could be going into a lot of things. Could be a fatalis, of course, if he wants to go down that road. But I imagine he just needs more damage at this point, just to try to shred through the damage that is coming towards him. Frostiak is looking to go towards ET staff.
It should be
imagine.
Oboe. We should see the Oboe coming out from Zalia.
Yeah. Picking up that Oboe, and I think Frost has to be going down that road of E-Staff, just given the game. He could go for Gem of Isolation, but I doubt it. At this point, we're going to be looking for a strong defensive exposed six. I love the fact that they purchased 3 Sentry Wards inside of Mortality when they back to the base, and now they have complete control of this area. And you see exposed six adjusting. They're putting wards in unconventional places that don't give much vision, just to make sure they have some vision, because some is better than none. The Fire Giant's respawning here. Apollo's across the way looking for a split push. Rom either defends it or goes for the Fire Giant. They need to make a choice.
He really needs to push farther, I think. They can't afford to lose another Phoenix. The Fire Giant has spawned. At this point, Exposed Secrets will know it. Now, Zalia, really the only person with a line to the inside with those beads. Frostiak does not really have a line. I mean, he has the beads, but then he has no escape if he goes in too early. Wall going to be used. Fire Giant still not started here as they're trying to chase away Zalia once again.
Short sword on Moex along with the Deathbringer going to make a big difference, especially given the fact that his passive Audacity doubles his attack speed from 5 attacks every so often, making a big difference there. Frezzy's got that Weakening Curse, which is going to make a big difference for the heal from Kali and Junk Clay. That's tough, because if they get that time properly, it's big. But here comes Moex looking for the kill, not going to find a Poppy Ultimate, force him away. There goes the exercise. The card
should be dead here. He should be dead.
The card gets removed when you exercise.
Oh, does it really?
It does.
Oh, did he get hit by it? I didn't notice. All the while, the bait's going off once again. Frezzy's going to be able to pick that one up. Moex stays alive, and again, we're talking about that raw heal.
There goes the card on top of Raffer. Of course, Moex survived there, dashing back to his base with the movement speed buff. They got the Fire Giant secured, and they got a kill out of it. Zalia, battling with Silo. There goes Execution. That's going to be it, but now he's in trouble.
That was his target.
He needs to get out here looking for Raffer. Raffer getting low. They're trading blows here, getting quite low. Zalia looking for the fight. Can he fight it? Oh, he gets taken out there. Frostbreath coming through, and it's 1-by-1.
Raffer just a little bit too tanky. Frostiak in trouble. Glacial Strike going to hit 2. Wall going to be good, but he's actually teleporting right through. Vexus with a huge shot, and Raffer finishes it up with a beautiful Berserker's Barrage. Last shot coming out from the sky is going to miss. Fumball not putting his name onto this one. Shadow Nightmare is in a lot of trouble as 3 congregate to push him down. That's going to be a 4-for-1 trade, and they only lost Bakasura.
Now they have disjoint respawns here. Athena now coming back to the world of living right as 3 of her teammates die and go down to the world of the dead. Funballer and Half Devil are charged with security duty here and see if they can't defend this mid-Phoenix, but it's going to be a tall task. There goes Moex dashing in, looking for Funball. He's exposed. Not much he can do here. Doesn't really have the space. He's a hype in the Titan. Looks like Moex going to give up. Taunt is not available there. The mid-Phoenix will fall yet again. Of course, that was weakened since it had already fallen once before. Fire Giant has about 2 minutes and 45 seconds on it, a long time to do whatever they want.
That Zalia is up right now at he might be able to do some damage here, but the Phoenix gets taken. Fexus again with a beautiful shot, going to clean that one up. Half Devil in a lot of trouble. Fist of the Gods going to keep him in place, lock him down, and burn him out. Frostyak taking a lot of damage, not dealing much in return. Berserker Barrage, and again walls himself off. That's the third time he has done that this game. Surrender Vote coming through, and a likely one it is, as the Titan has basically no defense left. Shadow Nightmare getting chased down into the fountain, as 4 members of Mortality gonna even this one up, take this one down.
Zaylia actually sold that Light Blade and went straight into Short Sword, losing a little bit of gold there. I think he realized that he needed more damage in that fight, and it made it difficult for him as he really didn't have the gold or positioning. I think that's kind of one of the woes of Kali, is that if you're fighting on a team that doesn't really have the team fight presence and control, you never really get a chance to get close enough to do your work.
So, checking this out, Mortality is going to be your victors this time. Sayo not having the best lane against Zaylia. Zaylia with those early kills. We really should have seen Zaylia farther behind with no blue buff early, getting it stolen away, on top of the fact that the red and the small camp was taken away as well. Both Frostyak and Zaylia should have been farther behind than they were, but Frostyak on his amazing Ymir play was still able to keep himself in it, but he definitely had, I think, one of the weaker performances of his Ymir, if not the weakest performance that we've seen so far from him in the Smite Pro League and the LANs, respectively.
A lot of damage coming out there, and I think they did a strong play there, but what really facilitated that is something that has always worked for teams in the ages, is having a strong hunter in your pocket. Moex playing a fantastic game that time around with Apollo, and keep in mind, Rom is very heavily valued, but sometimes people undervalue the strength of Apollo. Up in the air goes, watch him spread the team apart here. He's going to move around in a circle looking for that big knockup. There goes the dash down, going to finish off Half Devil in the dash, getting a double kill just with the ultimate, now using his positioning to try and rotate around, trying to find Funballer and cut his engagement off, looking for the kill. There's a Serenade, and he is just dead to rights, nowhere to go. Turns it into a double kill plus an assist on a third kill, and Moex is that X factor they needed to turn that fight around.
That's right, Mortality going to find their first win against Exposed Secrets. We'll be checking back with our other game, SK and Coast, in just a few minutes, so make sure to stick around.